I remember back in the days, I came across the word narcissist. I didn't really know who a narcissist was in that time, but I saw the word narcissist. It just somehow popped up. I don't know, it was on my phone or something like that. I think I was reading an article. Then I think that was in there's a forum P interest or something like that. I saw the word narcissist, but at that time I didn't take it seriously. So then I asked the narcissist, "Do you know these? Do you know these people? They are called the narcissists. Do you know these kind of people called the narcissists?" And the narcissist was like, "Ah, yeah, I've heard about them, but So it's like anyhow, um, the narcissist didn't really take it seriously. So, and in that time, of course, as a person who was not really awakened, I was like, anyway, maybe it doesn't really matter after all. It didn't really make a lot of sense. So we all brushed it off and just let it go. In that time. So those were that was during the last months, in those last months with the narcissist. Now, in that time, the universe was showing me certain things. God was showing me certain things. So I could come across some articles about abuse, domestic violence. I was reading stuff. I was trying to find out what was going on. I was trying to find out what was happening. My soul was yearning for answers. I really wanted answers in that time. I wanted to know what was I dealing with, because there was this situation in that time. I think we could call it the devaluation stage in that time, and my body was exhausted. In that time, my body was exhausted. So my soul was yearning for answers, and the universe started showing me little, bit by bit, domestic abuse, domestic violence, this and this, this and this. Then the word narcissist would pop up, and then I would just, okay, doesn't make a lot of sense. I'll leave it. After some time, I got the real video that I was looking for. The video just popped out all of a sudden, and instantly, that moment, that is exactly when I experienced a spiritual awakening. Now, when you're going through a spiritual awakening, it is also a very traumatic experience. You know what I mean? So most of the times you go through extensive trauma. There's got to be trauma. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. There is so many people, they talk about awakening. Oh, I'm woke. I'm awakened. I'm woke and I'm woke. Many people don't really understand what awakening is. You can have information about a thing. You might have read about it. Sometimes you might have had some scientists, psychologists, maybe talking about narcissists or things like that. So you have some information. Yes, okay, you understand this and this. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, there will come a time when you go through an extensive period of trauma. Now, that trauma, it is like your soul. Your soul is trying to wake you up. You know what I mean? Because it's like your body is failing. Your body is actually, you're going down. Guys, let me tell you something. When you're dealing with a narcissist, if you don't take it easy, if you don't take time, if you're not careful, staying with a narcissist will kill you. If you continue engaging with a narcissist, those narcissists, they're going to kill you. And they're going to tell everybody that you killed yourself. He was crazy. I used to tell him to go to see the doctor, and he was crazy. The narcissist will kill you, ladies and gentlemen. The trauma is going to exhaust the body. The body will start failing. You start experience organ failure. You will experience different types of migraines, acne, skin rash, stomach disorders. You are going to experience the sicknesses you've never seen before. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. When we tell you to leave the narcissist, you have got to go. Ladies and gentlemen, it does not matter if the narcissist is your parent. You have got to leave them. Your mothers, I don't know, their fathers. You have got to go. Ladies and gentlemen, you have got to go. If you want to live, if you really love yourself and you want to live, to take a second shot at life, you really have to go. So basically, when you're waking up, it's like you have got to somewhere somehow break the system. It's like you're breaking out of the system. You know what I mean? Now, when I'm talking about breaking out of the system, it is also like breaking out of the matrix. I've told you guys, the matrix involves so many things. The matrix involves the things you watch on TV. The matrix involves your governments. The matrix is your relationship partners. The matrix is your schools. The matrix is religion. The matrix is everywhere. The matrix is literally around us. For the most of us who have woken out or who have woken up from abuse, we have been dealing with the matrix in form of relationship partners. So it's like you're living in an illusion. You want your soul to believe that you're in love. You're telling yourself you're in love. You are the person who is actually literally destroying you each and every single day. So when I'm talking about waking up, I'm really talking about breaking out of the system. This whole thing is a simulation. It's all a game. It's all an illusion. Ladies and gentlemen, unless you have met your soulmate, unless you have met somebody who is really, really supposed to be with you, that person has got your best interests at heart. That person wishes the best for you, and you can confirm that those individuals, they are your soulmate, then, ladies and gentlemen, you're in the right place. If you're with a person who is torturing you, they're beating you up, they are destroying you, they're stealing from you, they're abusing you financially, sexually, emotionally, you're with a narcissist. And that is the matrix. I've told you guys in my videos, the narcissists, they're part of the matrix. So those are the guys who are also participating in putting people to sleep. It is the reason why you see a lot of these times, most of this information about narcissists, it doesn't really go out there too much. They don't really talk about it in schools. They don't really talk about it in churches. You will not see, sometimes you're even with your pastors, your own pastors, the church leaders, elders, they're the narcissists themselves. So you're dealing with the whole group of liars who are actually working for the matrix. So the only thing they're doing is they're keeping you in that state of fear, state of illusion, manipulation. You don't know what is going on around you. You are actually in sleep mode. Your soul will tell you that it's enough. When you've been with the narcissist, your soul is going to tell you that it's enough. Enough is enough. And at that point forward, your soul can no longer take it. Your soul is waking you up because the body has failed. Your body is going to start shutting down, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to me. So it's the reason why you see sometimes, so for the most of us who have awakened, we know the whole game, we know how it goes, we know what it is. We can look beyond the illusion, we can look beyond the veil, so we can look beyond the matrix. You know what I mean? So when you see this kind of narcissists and they're telling you some kind of games and they're telling you this and that, you can easily walk away. The reason why you can walk away easily is because you're awakened. And when I'm talking about awakening, I'm talking about full awakening, because I've told you guys, a complete awakening happens when you are able, your soul is able, your body and soul is able to break out of the system. So you're able to break out of those patterns of abuse. You recognize them. Not only do you recognize them, but you are also able to break out of them permanently. So you allow yourself to step out of this abuse so that you can now go out there and you can work on yourself and you can start healing. You know what I mean? It is very easy. It is very difficult to leave a narcissist. I've told you guys, it's not easy. I've told you guys, I've struggled personally 7 years to leave the narcissist. I did not know what was going on in that time. I was not enlightened. I did not have people who are telling me the things I'm telling you today. So there was nobody telling me that, there are these people, they're called the narcissists. I did not know anything. So I was as green as you are. But at this point forward, for the ones of us who have awakened, so what we do now, we come out and we give you bits and bits of information. You know what I mean? I do not have the power. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody has got the power to awaken anyone. You can't give them information. You can give them some form of enlightenment, but the real trigger of awakening, the real point of awakening, that point of contact whereby a person will snap, their soul will snap out of this. You know what I mean? That thing is a divine intervention. So it is not something we have the power. We have the power. We have the power and we have the abilities. We're in good position, in a good place to let you guys know what is happening. So we teach you some things online. We help you, sometimes things like that. But it is God who will decide that, okay, this person, your time has come. Probably that time you have learned your lessons, you have really learned the lessons. And guys, when I'm talking about awakening, we have really learned the lessons really the hard way. So a lot of us who have gone through these periods of awakening, we have learned our lessons, and we have learned the lessons the hard way. You know what I mean? So if you're a person out there, you're still looking for information, you're still searching for, yes, you're hearing people, there are some coaches there online here and there, they're telling you about the narcissist, and it's okay. Get information, but the real switch is going to happen when God has got to step into this situation. So the universe is going to come in. This is a divine intervention, ladies and gentlemen. It's a battle for your soul. So the narcissist is trying to take your soul. The narcissist is trying to take you out. They have a plan to most case scenarios, there's three things that are going to happen. They will kill you. Sometimes they may steal from you. They will destroy you. The narcissist has got to make sure that they take you out. The narcissist is on a mission. They are on a complete mission to break you down. You know what I mean? So because the narcissists, they are very much aware of, they are aware about these empaths. So they know who the empath is. So they like your abilities, they like your qualities, they like your empathy. They even sometimes they wish they were you in the first place. So they try to get close to you because they want to know, how do you do it? How do you survive? How do you manage? How do you carry on with your life? You know what I mean? They want to know everything about you. So normally what they do, they start to steal these qualities from you. You know what I mean? So it's the reason why you see the narcissists, they are very much engaged with the entangled with empaths, because they know who the empath is, and they know your abilities, and they know what you're capable of. You know what I mean? So why am I making this video? I want to let you guys know that for you to awaken, there's got to be a divine intervention. There is nobody who is going to come around and tell you, okay, now it's time for you to awaken, and and you're going to snap out of it. Your soul will recognize. It is your soul that is going to recognize that the abuse is enough. You've had enough. You cannot take this anymore. It's like you've had. So it's like you reach that point of breakdown. It's like, for example, your body is actually completely shutting down. You know what I mean? So when you're talking about awakening, especially in these scenarios of abuse and narcissism and everything, we're talking about the period when your body completely shuts down. And normally, when your body completely shuts down, that is when God is going to step into your situation, and God is going to switch you on just like that all of a sudden and get you out of that bubble. You know what I mean? So if a person is awakened and you think you're awakened, or you awoke, some people, they are saying they awoke, or I'm awakened and they awoke, but there's a whole lot of awakening than me talking about it. You know what I mean? Because if you're telling somebody that you awoke and you still haven't yet broken out of the system, and you're telling people that you woke, then I think you haven't yet fully awakened. Yes, you may be a little bit enlightened about certain things. You might have information about certain things, but the real awakening is a spiritual event. So the reason why they call it a spiritual awakening is because this is a spiritual event that is happening. It has nothing to do with the physical reality of you, the body, and everything. So it's a spiritual event. It's an awakening of the soul. You know what I mean? So normally at that point, it's like you start going through ego deaths. You start recognizing things. A lot of you guys, the black sheep, you are going to start recognizing the patterns in your families. You'll be like, oh, this is not, no, 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 no. This is this man, this is my father. You know, and actually, guys, even before I forget, I remember those days as well. So I started recognizing some patterns in my family, and because the thing is, when you awaken, it's like your soul now takes over. Your soul takes over your body. This your physical body. It's your soul now taking over everything. So I remember my soul recognizing that there was some things happening in family. Why was this one speaking like this? Why was that doing like this? Why was this doing like that? So I started to figure out these things in the family. I started to see this. I had already seen them before, but I mean, like, in that point, I could not really make sense, make out everything. What was exactly what was this whole thing? So I could not actually put everything in a package to understand what it was. But this time, at the point of awakening, my spirit, my soul, it will recognize these patterns in front of me. I would see the dysfunction for what it is. You could see these patterns playing out in front of you. So me, in those days, I hadn't yet really discovered that I was a black sheep. You know what I mean? So, but it's like my soul had rejected that pattern. So my soul was telling me to break out of the system. You know what I mean? To break out of that family belief system. That kind of bubble. You know what I mean? We are family, and blood is blood, and so you allow people to play around with your mind. to start telling you what you need to do, which direction you need to go, the decisions you need to make. So I was breaking out of the pattern. So for me, my soul, in that time, I was breaking out of the family system pattern, family pattern and everything. So I was recognizing that this thing is not healthy. There is something wrong. It is really wrong, and it is actually very, very deadly and very, very toxic. And my soul was telling me, get out of this pattern fast and see what is happening. So you see, sometimes sometimes for you to get clarity, you need to get yourself out of a certain situation. First of all, get out. Don't worry about the details. Do not worry about the details, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to know what I'm talking about, walk away. Walk away and give yourself some time, 1 week or 2 weeks. So for me, for me to come to that realization that I have been a black sheep all this entire life, a scapegoat, I had to first of all get out of this pattern. I would recognize this was it was a very dysfunctional pattern, and I didn't know what it was. So my soul rejected the system. I was like, I'm gonna get out of this. I don't care what happens. I do not care who says what. I do not care the narcissistic parent what they are saying, who says what, the brother said this. I was ready to get out of the pattern. So I got out of the pattern. And believe me, guys, to my surprise, outside of the system, that's when I was able to see the dysfunction of what it is. Now, that's when I was able to see, my eyes were clear. I would see that this one is that, this one is that, this one is this. So I would start to see the puzzle. The whole puzzles, the entire puzzle started to fit. The entire puzzles, ladies and gentlemen, started to fit. So that's when I made out, I recognized that actually I'd always been a scapegoat. Because now I was able to see these patterns in front of me. They was now coming one by one. Because remember that a lot of people don't recognize awakening. They don't know what it is. So there's so many family members of yours. When you awaken, it's like you're running out there. You're telling them, "Hey, listen, hey, brother, I've awakened. I've discovered this. I've seen this. I can see this. I can see that." Because remember, guys, when you're awakening, you're also having a Kundalini awakening. So it's like your third eye is opening. It's like your spiritual eyes are opening. Actually, you're starting to see the world for what it is. But you see, the problem is there is people that you know that are close to you, the people who are next to you. Their eyes are still closed. They do not know what you're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, you can slap these individuals. You can pour a bucket of water on their heads. It doesn't matter what you do. You can shake them up. You can turn them upside down. They cannot hear you. They cannot hear you because those individuals, they are asleep. And ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very terrifying. This is a very terrifying moment. For me, the moment I realized that a lot of my family members were asleep, it was very scary. So for me, I was like, I cannot wait to, it's not going to be my duty to keep on scapegoating for the family while they are asleep. And they keep on abusing me, even sometimes most of them without realizing that they're actually messing up with your life. So I was like, I'm not going to participate in this. So what happened is that now the soul allowed me to break out of the system. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you're awakening, you're breaking the system. You're breaking the family system. You're breaking religious systems, beliefs, employment, jobs, society. You're breaking simply out of the matrix. When you're awakening, you're breaking out of the matrix. So there's a lot of people who are going to argue with you. There's so many people who are going to fight with you. They are going to point their fingers. They are going to you're going to smear campaign. They are going to talk a lot of BS around you, behind you. But I've told you guys, uh, you do not judge them. Understand, many people they have a different understanding of the world, especially people who have been asleep. Because remember that before you awakened, you were also reasoning the same like them. But this point of awakening, that you have got a Kundalini awakening now, your spiritual eyes are open. You can now see the system for what it is. You can see things for what they are. You can no longer see the same father to you, the same father or the same mother, brothers and sisters, the same family you used to see before your awakening. Everything is going to change. So the spiritual awakening allows you to see things for what they are. You know, you might have seen them sometimes before. Prior to the awakening, you could have been seeing things, and you're thinking, why is my brother behaving like this? Why is my sister behaving like this? Sometimes you think that, okay, maybe they are narcissists. They look like narcissistic, or they look like they're toxic, or the things like that. You might have been having a lot of these answers in your head. But the moment you snap, ladies and gentlemen, the moment that Kundalini awakening, the Kundalini activates, in front of you, you're going to see the beast for what it is. So your father is no longer going to be your father. If it has been the narcissistic parent you've been dealing with, you're no longer going to see your fathers for being your fathers. You're going to see your fathers in a different image. You're going to see your sisters for a different for who they really are. You're going to see the activity, the demonic activity behind whatever it is they're doing. So you're no longer going to look at them in a physical perspective. You're going to start seeing them in a spiritual sense. You cannot talk to them, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot slap them. You cannot wake them up. You cannot do nothing that is going to make them understand what you see. They cannot see it. So a lot of people wake up. Many people wake up um, at their own time. Everybody has got a time to wake up. Everybody wakes up when God decides that this person, okay, is your time now. There will be that divine intervention, and God will actually, turn you on. It's like a tap on your head. You know what I mean? So it's like, get up, beautiful soul. It's like, God just taps your head, and that's it. That's when you snap out of it. So I've done a video already about spiritual awakening, my real experience that day, what happened when I was waking up. And you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the whole world around you is a simulation. Everything is a simulation. It's just a simulation. This is a game. It's like a computer game. You're sitting behind on the computer, and you're seeing all these characters move from place to place, and so the whole thing is a simulation. And normally, you can be able to see the simulation for what it is when you're outside of it. So if it has been a work environment, you've got to step out of that job first. Then you can see the simulation for what it is. You know what I mean? If it has been your family, you get out of the family. So for me, I remember I was telling the family members that, listen, guys, I need time for myself. Because in those days, I was seeing a lot of toxic patterns, and I would not really recognize what was it. So I had to excuse myself out of the system. And behold, guys, when I went out of the system, that's when I was able to see that system for what it is. I was able to see this dysfunction when I was out of it. You know what I mean? So it is going to happen always that you'll meet so many people along your journey. They are going to be telling you a lot of things. What is he talking about? Why does he think that he's the one who knows everything? Because the person who is awakened, sometimes you appear very knowledgeable, very wise, very intelligent, you know, because at that moment you're acting and doing things with your spirit. So it's like you're no longer doing things with your ego. You can recognize the ego is lying to you. You know what I mean? Because the ego is connected to this matrix and illusion of the things around us. But this time when you're awakened, you're connected to your soul. You're very much close to your soul, and your soul is taking charge of your life at this time. So it's the reason why you see many times people are like, what is this person talking about? They are seeing you in the physical sense, yes, the person that they used to know, but at the same time they're also recognizing that they actually never really knew you. You know what I mean? And especially for the most of you guys are the chosen ones. So you're going to take people by surprise. The very moment the divine, the universe, God activates you and you get to that sense of awakening and you realize that you're chosen one, you are going to take people by surprise. People are going to wonder where you came from. And people are going to realize for the very first time they have never really known you. Because they are going to see the authentic version of you. They are going to see the authentic version of you. That version of you they have never seen before, and uh they cannot fathom what is happening with you. They cannot understand what is going on with this person. So do not really judge people when they start to say, like, they start to call you these different kinds of names. The guy is crazy. Did you hear what sister said? Did you see what brother's doing? Because now you're moving authentically with your life. You're no longer moving out of. You're no longer moving with the ego. You're no longer moving with the crowds. You're no longer moving with the masses. You have left your families behind. You have decided to embark on a journey of authenticity. And a lot of people around there in the universe, they do not know how to live authentically. Empaths will live authentically, of course, even before your awakening. Most of the time, you will say that so a lot of times you might have been doing things with your ego, yes, like everybody else, but still, there's always that empathy in your heart. You know what I mean? You can recognize pain. You can know that you don't really want to put people in certain types of pain because you can feel that pain as your own. You know what I mean? So the empaths, you have always lived authentically, yes, but at this point of awakening, it is the moment people are going to realize They have never known you. They have never really known who you are, because now they are seeing what is within your soul. They are seeing the real soul, what your soul really looks like. You know what I mean? So that's why you see a lot of times it's causing a lot of separations. People start to separate. Because now you're seeing that this whole thing is a game. It's all a game. It's like it's like a very big screen, and you're watching a movie. You know, you're watching a movie, but this time you're saying like, okay, you are not going to participate in that movie. You're going to break out of that system. So waking up, you're breaking the system, and there's many people around you who don't want the system to break. So your parents don't want you to break the system. Your parents don't want you to start speaking out for yourself. They don't want you to go your own way and to follow your own direction, because they have always been used to you being a scapegoat of the family. So they want you to keep that position that you've always been. They want you to stay where you've been, in that sleep mode, until for the rest of your life. But you're refusing, and you're breaking out of the system. So it's all a simulation. You will see it when you wake up. It is very difficult to explain these things to some people, because there are some people who are not ready um, for that knowledge. There is people who are not ready for that knowledge. The knowledge will always come to the people who are ready for it. But there are some people who are not ready to understand this, because of the stage they are in their lives. Because I've told you guys, everybody in this universe, we evolve at our own times. You know what I mean? Everybody evolves slowly, gradually. You know what I mean? It's a process. It's not something that happens just all of a sudden in one day. Everything just happens like step by step, and there's no rush. But God will decide that this person, okay, this is my my son, my daughter. Let's get you out of this system. And you will snap. And when you snap, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. So your life will never be the same again. You're going to start moving higher and higher in life. You know what I mean? You're going to start doing things authentically, organically. You don't need anybody's approval. You don't need approval from your parents. You don't need approval from your brothers and sisters. You want to live your life authentically, because you want to grow and evolve out of this bubble. And that is when you will really know that you're actually breaking out of the system. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to let you guys know that be patient with yourself. There is people who will not understand you. There is people that you're going to speak with, they will not understand you. They will call you names. They will smear your name. They will say all kinds of things. Do not worry about that. It's a process. When their time comes, they will go through the same process that you've been. And until then, guys, I hope this video makes sense. If that does, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. I'll get back to you guys in my next one. Book a session if you want to. You may donate and support my channel if you want to. And until then, it's been a blessing to have you guys on board. I'll catch you guys in my next one. There's almost signing out. Peace.